Hey everybody, it's Friday. Hope you're going to have an amazing weekend. Welcome to another episode of SMG Viewers Comments, my weekly show where I try and answer your comments and questions about recording, bands, and just general music business f***ery to the best of my ability. Anyway, let's get right to it.
Yo, Glenn, what do you think of Mustaine switching from Dean to Gibson?
Wow, that's a pretty heavy question there. I mean, at first I didn't really think very much of it, then I realized it's like, hold on, Mustaine was with Dean for years, and now he's switching to the company that's suing Dean. What's up with that? Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing, I had a snappy answer all figured out, it's like, Mustaine's a genius guitar player, he's so talented, he could probably figure out how to keep a Gibson in tune for a change. But I think it gets a little murky when we talk about ethics. I mean, yeah, you work with a company, you're loyal to it, now you're going to not only their competition, but you're going to their competition that's trying to hurt them financially over a quote-unquote trademark infringement, which may or may not be complete and total bullshit. I mean, this is the thing, this is a reason I'm not putting Gibson on my show, is because I don't agree with their business practices of going after Dean. I don't agree with that lawsuit at all, so it's like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to be a part of that problem. Dean wants to be on the show at some time. I'd be more than happy to have him. But as far as Gibson is concerned, I'm curious to see what they're going to put out for Mustaine. I was a big fan of the Jackson King V back when he was with Jackson. I don't think I ever played one of the Mustaine Deans, but I am kind of curious to see what they'll cook up as a Mustaine v Gibson. It might be super cool. Time will tell. Hopefully it stays in tune.
Glenn, what do you prefer as an audio engineer on metal bass? Pick or fingers? Assuming that a very competent, experienced bass player with excellent, even delivery as the model with any bass with a great setup and new strings as an instrument model, do you find pick attack and string resonance that only superseded by slap, that an auto compressor, even as pick, works better in most metal situations, or the slight inconsistencies of finger playing that adds more organic warmth and a little more soul? Big difference between Steve Harris tone color and Dave Ellefson or Jimmy Bain bass tone color, although all are great in their own right, but interested in your opinion.
Short answer, 0 fucks given. If they're playing at that level of Steve Harris or Dave Ellefson or something like that, I couldn't give a flying fuck, because each bass player is going to add their own color to the overall sound. All I care about are 3 things. Is it in tune? Is it on time? And did the bass player get dropped off by his mom at the proper time? Seriously, this is just kind of a pointless debate, like Mac versus PC. It's like you can rage and rage and rage about pick versus fingered, till the cows come home. It's not going to make an ounce of fucking difference. And honestly, if a bass player comes in, I don't give a slightest fuck about his pick technique. As long as it's being played competently, that's the most important thing. Certain players are going to have certain attacks, and that's great. That's what separates things out. That's what makes things interesting, is a little bit of variety. One of my all-time favorite bass players, Billy Gould from Faith No More, plays with a pick. One of my other all-time favorite bass players, Cliff Burton, plays with his fingers. Each has their own style, each has their own sound, and that is perfectly fine. Stop worrying about shit that doesn't fucking matter. Seriously, people.
This is the real Glenn. The angry, yelling guy is just an act. You should call these no pants reviews.
You're referring to that Behringer SL75C review I did there a couple weeks back, where I did it in the suit as a nice guy Glenn. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Actually, that's not a bad suggestion. Would you guys like to see more no pants reviews? Leave a comment below. Let me know. I want to hear from you.
Glenn, I too was able to get quite a lot of done when I worked evenings. I'd wake up at like 7 a.m. and mix till about noon, shower, and off to work. Now that I'm on day shirt, I do find it hard. I tried a nap. My only problem is after an hour of good REM, I find myself struggling to get out of bed to do anything. Did you have to force yourself to get up and go mix?
Oh, dude, man, yeah, I share your pain. Like, I did that for 27 years. I'm going to have a full video detailing my whole work-life balance, just to maybe help some of you guys out there who are shift workers, who are trying to record bands, and how I coped with it for year after year after year. That was the thing. When I was on afternoon shift, I'd mix in the mornings, and then I'd track bands when I was on day shift. And I found switching back to steady days was just absolutely fucking brutal. I finally found somebody to switch off to steady days with, and I could only do it for 2 weeks because I just got no fucking sleep at all. So go back to swing shift. That would be my advice. That'd be the first thing. Yeah, when I was on days, I wouldn't nap for an hour. I'd nap for 2 hours. But then again, I'd probably be up till 2 a.m. after, and working on whatever. So, go to bed at 2 a.m, get up at 7 a.m, go to work, and come home at 3, crash out for a couple hours, eat, and then 7 p.m. I'm back in the studio working. But that was the thing. I'd do a 2-hour nap. The thing is, human beings are built to take naps. That's the thing. You just need to find the length that works best for you. The whole concept of, 8 hours work, 8 hours sleep, 8 hours relaxation is something that came along with the Industrial Revolution. I mean, the siesta is still very much a thing in other parts of the world. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm not stepping on any toes there. This is an assumption. If somebody can confirm that, that would be fantastic. But as far as I know, people do take naps throughout the day in many, many parts of the world. And it's just kind of this weird North American thing where we do this thing where we do the whole sleep deprivation thing, and that really sucks. Even these days, I'm still doing naps. Maybe not big 2-hour ones, maybe half hour, 45 minutes, that kind of thing. I mean, like, I'll work in the studio here till about 3, 4 in the afternoon, go back in the house, flake out for a little while, and then come back out and work in the evenings. And I'm absolutely fine and I'm refreshed. So naps can help you out quite a bit. Please experiment around and find what works best for you, though. Good luck, man.
How can you have any clients if all you do is constantly shit on them in a public forum? Have some class and curb your damn egos. Yeah, most clients are Grammy winners, you don't say.
Alchemist Anonymous, thank you so much for making a comment about my awesome shirt, the Professional Turd Polisher. I make your performance tolerable. Now, the reason I made this shirt is because some of us out there actually have a sense of humor and aren't stuck-up snobs. And realize, guess what? This is the job these days. You are absolutely right. Most of the musicians that are going to walk through the average project studio are not going to be Grammy winners. In fact, I'm going to bet that 99% of us out there are never, ever, ever going to work with Grammy-level musicians. And yet the clients demand that kind of product from you. They want professional results without providing the professional performance. That's why I made the Turd Polisher t-shirt. Now, just so happens that today is the last day that design is on sale. I know a bunch of you guys already grabbed it, but today's the last day for Professional Turd Polisher. I've got it on a hoodie here. It's even got the super cool SMG logo right there. It's on a long sleeve shirt. You can get on a short sleeve as well. And you know what? Just to make things interesting for today and today only, I'm going to offer a 15% discount on everything in my Teespring store if you use the code Alchemist Can Suck It, because fuck that guy.
Hey Glenn, how's it going? Still hating and talking down on bedroom producers that can't afford to record real drums?
No, Ash, no, I haven't. In fact, that's not what I do. I don't talk down to bedroom producers who can't afford real drums because I understand that's about 90% of you guys out there. I've always said from day one there is absolutely nothing wrong with using samples if that's all you have access to. Make music by any means necessary, whatever you've got available. The trick is make fucking music. When did that get lost in the narrative? How did you possibly manage to miss that fact? I've said that over and over and over again. I don't know. Stop sniffing glue? Pay attention? What do you think? Now, it just so happens a couple weeks ago, I asked you guys what you'd think about a set of SMG drum samples. The overwhelming response was, fuck yes! So I've been working with Jackson Ward and we've been putting together the first set of SMG drum samples. Hopefully those are going to be available in a few weeks. They're just being edited right now. From what I've heard, they're going to be pretty damn wicked. I think you guys are going to like it, and they're definitely going to give you guys a bit different flavor and palette to work from than what's already available commercially. Anyway, stay tuned. I hope you guys like what you hear. Now, there's two reasons I'm doing a sample pack. Number one, I know that's what most of you guys out there are working with. Not everybody has the space or the soundproofing to do a live drum kit. That's just the way how life works. And number two, not a fucking idiot.
Glenn! I was wondering what's your thoughts on guitar speakers. I know the Vintage 30 is the gold standard for metal that other speakers are measured against, and for a good reason, but you have other speakers they could use when a Vintage 30 seems too commonplace. I have a huge Kettner 2x12 that came with Vintage 30s. One of them has been replaced with a Neo Creamback, and the other Vintage 30 will soon be replaced with recently announced Neo V-Type. Neo speakers, great tone and easy on your back. Cheers and Hallingscar from the cold and currently very snowy country of Sweden.
Hey, Daniel, thanks so much for writing. Sweden, that's definitely a country that's like number one or number two on the places I'd really like to visit one day. Hopefully after this whole pandemic thing ends, we can make that happen. Anyway, yeah, I think mixing it up with different speakers is great. Yeah, of course the Vintage 30 sounds great. It's been on so many records over the last, who knows how long. The creambacks are a great option. They're a good blender. I'm a big fan of the WGS stuff as well. Their Veteran 30 is really good. I really love the WGS Reaper speakers. I think that's going to be great. I'm going to be debuting a couple of new speakers from Amperion as well. They're just working on getting the production issues figured out. Again, COVID really fucked things up for that. The Empyreans are really cool. I really want to try the Jesus speakers. Ola's done some absolutely amazing stuff with those guys, and I would love to demo some of those. And the other brand I've been talking to as well has been Eminence, and they've got those Slipknot speakers that are just coming out. And again, hard to get hold of right now, but as soon as they're available, you can be sure I'm going to be debuting them on the show as well. There's a lot of great options out there. Another one that comes to mind is the Celestion Greenback, the classic. If you go put on Machine Head Burn My Eyes, that's a 5150 into a greenback, and the tone is absolutely crushing. Lots of options out there. Don't be satisfied with doing the same thing everyone else is doing. Go find your own sound. Go find your own direction. That's my advice. Try something different.
Glenn, I have a question. What is the difference between 2 tubes versus 4 tubes in the power section of an amp?
Now, I am not an amp designer. With my very limited knowledge of tube amps, basically I think it's 50 watts versus 100 watts. I could be completely fucking wrong here. I should have called Dan Trudeau from Rev Amps and asked him. But, 120 watts, 100 watts, 100 watts. That's a 50 down here. The Synergy, it's only got 2 power tubes. So from my experience, that's what it is. And again, if I am wrong, please feel free to tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys.
Glenn, do you think building custom guitars or modding guitars is really worth it? I'm looking into making a Charvel-style Strat to my specs, and I'm looking into buying a Strat body, and it will probably modify it or order it from Warmouth.
Well, that really depends on you. I mean, like, if you don't mind putting the work in, it can be very rewarding and a very enjoyable hobby, is changing things out and tweaking things out to exactly how you want it. I've got no problem with that. But a lot of us are satisfied, with something we can get off the shelf as well. That question really has to be answered by you. Oh yeah, by the way, this question, the next one, come from the SMG Discord. It's open to everybody, so feel free to follow the link in the description below and join up.
Glenn, how has the home recording revolution affected business over at SMG? I'm only curious because I'd love to open my own studio at some point, but I don't see the business succeeding, not only because of the lack of music scene and musicians in my town, but because people can just record at home nowadays. Any thoughts or suggestions? Thanks, and fuck you.
Well, that's the thing. Most people can record at home these days, and that's going to be a big factor unless you have something you can offer, something that most people don't have access to, like the ability to record live drums and make them sound good. People aren't really going to have too much of a reason to go see you. I mean, like, if somebody wants to record at home with Easy Drummer and say a Quad Cortex or something like that and do what I'm calling prefab metal, that's absolutely fine, and they can probably kick something out pretty quickly and for minimal expense. That's definitely a viable option. People want to go with live drum sets, obviously it gets a lot more complicated. Now, if you want to open your own home studio, that's absolutely fine, but just make sure you've got something you can offer, something that the average home guitar player isn't going to have. As for business here, I'm still getting mix offers about once a week from bands all over the place, and I'm always grateful to hear from you guys as well. So that's super cool. I'm very, very fortunate in that, being on YouTube has allowed me to reach a lot of people across the world. So I'm in a slightly different position than, say, your average local home studio, although that's still what this is at the core. Thanks for asking. Anyway, I'll see you on the Discord.
Hi Glenn, how do you cut mid-frequencies on the kick drum to avoid the clicky frequencies clashing with mid-range focused instruments such as guitar and perhaps vocals?
I would definitely recommend getting the AIX drum EQ and seeing in a visual representation where all the fundamental frequencies are on the kick drum and working with that. It's my absolute favorite EQ for drums for exactly that reason, and you can work with the various tunings on the various drums. It doesn't just work for kick, it's great across the whole freaking spectrum. I'm really surprised nobody's done something like that before. It is absolutely cool. And wait till you guys see version 2 of that. It's going to be pretty wicked.
Hi Glenn, your resident economist here. Brand loyalty is basically what's known as consumer surplus. People who swear by Gibson, Fender, or in this case Jackson, are valuing the brand higher than the price they pay. Let's say that a USA Dinky costs $1,700, but a person loyal to Jackson is willing to pay $2,000 for the same guitar. The consumer surplus is $300 and serves as a quantifiable measure for something like brand loyalty.
Wow, hey man, thanks so much for explaining it like that. That lays it out in some pretty simple to understand terms. That's really cool. I think that goes to explain a lot why Mac stuff is so much more expensive than PC stuff. Again, the whole brand loyalty thing. I think The Onion did something there a few years ago where the guy said, "Oh, I'll buy anything if it's shiny and from Apple." And that's probably exactly why Gibson, almost priced itself out of the market, because they were relying on that brand loyalty without delivering the brand quality that they had been famous for so very long. Glad they're turning things around. Now they just got to drop the lawsuit against Dean.
Hey there, Glenn! Silly question. The monitors in your soffits, fuck if I know how to spell that, or how do you turn them on and off? Do you pull them out and flip a switch on the back, or do you leave them set on and plug them in when you don't want to leave them on? Asking because I'm worried that leaving mine on but using a button on my power strip to either supply or cut power will damage them.
Dude, fantastic question. I'm pretty sure that question crossed my mind when I was building this place back in 2003. Yeah, all we did was wire some extension cords back there, and they're controlled by a power strip. I've had absolutely no problems with my speakers in 18 years in here. So yeah, don't worry about it.
Hi Glenn, just a thought. Moving a microphone for a few millimeters makes a lot of difference when miking a guitar cab. Is the same thing with miking a snare drum, and can that contraption Dynamount stand be used in this application as well? Thanks.
Oh, we're going to be looking at the new Dynamount in a week or two, possibly. I've got one here. I got to hook it up and get it all ready, but should be cool. As per your question, yes, it probably would affect the snare sound a little bit, but the snare is a big combination, not only the close mic on top, but also the bottom mic, the overheads, and the room mics, so not quite as much. Usually, when you're miking up a guitar cab, if you're just using a single 57, where you place that mic is going to have gigantic difference. The other thing is, if you get a Dynamount on a snare drum, you're going to have to make sure the drummer doesn't hit it. Good luck with that. That would be my big concern, is just how would you get a Dynamount in there to move a snare mic around? I think that might be mission fucking impossible, to be honest with you. Then again, I've got the micro Dynamount. Who knows? Maybe it might work. Maybe we should try that out.
Do you have any guilty pleasure records, something you love despite a terrible mix?
Oh, who doesn't, man? I mean, there's a lot of punk stuff I listen to that was just recorded terribly, but it has a great vibe on it. One of my favorite records in my college days was by a Toronto punk band called Mud, where they did kind of like parodies of modern rock songs of the day, and they were hilarious. The recording was absolutely hideous. The quality was just awful, but the songs were great, and they were a lot of fun, and I listened to that tape to death. And I'm still considering maybe we should try covering one of those songs, me and a few of the friends around here who've been on the show, just to have some fun with it and give it like the whole production treatment. My big concern, though, is we're going to wind up overproducing it and kind of miss the spirit of the initial recording, which was the band live off the floor with a horrible recording. Might be a lot of fun, though. Time will tell. We'll see.
For real, shut up about U.S. politics, you Canadian.
Yeah, that's right, man. America's the land of the free. Unless, of course, you're Canadian. All right, everybody, that's it for this episode. Do me a favor on your way out. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Give it a thumbs up. Give it a share. Do the YouTube hokey pokey and help this show out. By the way, don't forget, today's the last day for the professional turd polisher. I make your performance tolerable design. You can get it on a shirt, long sleeve. I got it on a freaking hoodie here. It's very comfortable. I really like this thing. And don't forget to use the code Alchemist Can Suck It so you can get 15% off anything for today only in my Teespring store. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys next time.